and shapes at this mass ascension. The festival runs through this Sunday, so there's still time to hop in the car or hop in a balloon and check it all out for yourself. Those are some great balloons.
That's on my bucket list, actually. Yeah, I would love to see this.
Beautiful. That's our time for now. News Street 5 starts right after this.
Right now at 5, we're seeing some colder temperatures across the area. What that could mean for farmers in southern Wisconsin.
Members of the Wisconsin National Guard are getting ready to deploy to Florida to help with Hurricane Michael.
And a reality check on the attack ad and the race for U.S. Senate. We'll tell you what really happened surrounding the opioid crisis at the VA hospital in Toma.
This is News 3 at 5.
Thanks for staying with News 3. It has been a cold Thursday across southern Wisconsin. We could see a hard freeze tonight.
The growing season is over. Let's get a first check on the weather. Gary Canalti is in the Weather Center. Gary?
Yeah, it definitely is getting colder. Our temperatures have dropped by about 20 to almost 30 degrees across southern Wisconsin since this time yesterday. And we do have an alert day in the forecast for tomorrow morning. Also, really for tomorrow night as well, because the weather conditions will be very similar. We're expecting a widespread frost and a hard freeze in many locations, especially away from downtown Madison, where temperatures usually are a couple of degrees warmer thanks to the urban effect of the city. But our freeze warnings are in effect away from Lake Michigan for all of southern Wisconsin. Areas north of the Dells have already seen a freeze, so there's no warnings or advisories up there. Visible cloud track shows at least a fair amount of cloud cover during the day today. Now, depending on how much of that dissipates at night, that may determine exactly how cold temperatures will be. But this morning, low temperatures were in the middle to upper 30s from Madison westward and in the lower 40s closer to Lake Michigan. That was primarily due thanks to the cloud cover. Current temperature or high temperature so far today only in the mid to upper 40s, and right now we're already down to 42 in Madison. Temperatures are as cool as 39 degrees in Viroqua. And by tomorrow morning, look for temperatures to drop to around 30 degrees here in Madison. Some outlying locations could be in the upper 20s. Tomorrow will be a chilly day as well, with high temperatures only in the lower 40s. That's your first alert forecast.
Gary, thank you. And a possible hard freeze tonight could signal the end, as we mentioned, of the growing season. Farmers across southern Wisconsin.
But could temperatures near 30 degrees actually help local agriculture? Meteorologist Dave Caulfield has more on farmers' reactions to the big freeze.
Yeah, Eric and Sue, it's been a crazy week for dairy farmers across the area, like Corey Brown in Belleville. On Tuesday, he was trying to keep his cows comfortable with high temperatures in the 80s, and now he's preparing for a freeze just a few days later. With how wet 2018 has been, a freeze would actually help people like Corey a little bit because it will harden the ground and allow him to navigate the saturated soil to get his equipment out into the fields and harvest the remaining grain, corn, and soybean crop. However, it will be the latest bit of bad luck for a crop like alfalfa, which for Corey is 2 months behind schedule. It's really an impossible position to be put in.
So we're stuck on the fence with a boulder on each side, and we have to jump one way or the other.
The quality of Corey's alfalfa crop is low, but he still needs it to use in his feed. But a freeze would cause the leaves of the alfalfa crop to fall off, rendering it basically useless. And if this cut of alfalfa doesn't make it through the freeze, then Corey will lose about 10% of his feed for the next year. With the current dairy market, that's just the last thing that he needs to be worried about right now.
I really feel for him. They've had to deal with a lot of different things going on. All right, Dave, thank you very much. The death toll now is at least 6 as Michael works its way through the southeastern U.S. Yesterday, the storm slammed into the Florida Panhandle as a Category 4 hurricane, leaving behind widespread damage. The storm surge reached 10 feet in some areas. Winds topped out at 155 miles per hour, just shy of Category 5 hurricane status. The roof of a school gymnasium ripped open, and an entire freight train was pushed off of its rails at Tyndall Air Force Base. That's in Panama City. Winds stripped the roof from the airplane hangar there, overturned trucks, debris littering the tarmac there. Emergency officials say their top priority now is search and rescue. They do expect the death toll to rise.
Haven't been able to get in and truly, assess. It's going to take us some time to do that over the next 48 hours, to fully understand who did and who didn't evacuate.
Now, at least 650,000 homes and businesses have no electricity. Utility companies warn it could be days, if not weeks, to finish repairs. One early estimate put the initial cost of the storm damage at over $10 billion.
The National Guard is getting ready to leave for Florida. A crew of 12 men and women from Wisconsin will be helping rescue people stranded by Hurricane Michael.
And our Amy Reed caught up with a few of them before they left. She joins us now live from the base in West Bend tonight. Amy?
Yeah, the Wisconsin National Guard met up here today to get ready to fly down to Florida early tomorrow morning. The group of 12 guardsmen loaded up 2 Black Hawk helicopters full of medical equipment and hoists. Now, these can help people rescue people from rooftops, and these rigs actually set Wisconsin National Guard apart from other states. They can pull people up and bring them inside the helicopters more easily, which makes it safer and a little less scary for those civilians who are right now surrounded by floodwaters. The guardsmen told me they don't know how long they will be down there, which is a bit scary and difficult to have to leave your family and friends for X amount of days, but they said this job is worth it. There's nothing more rewarding than helping these folks out. Now, this caps off a busy summer and fall for them. You'll remember the National Guard was integral in placing sandbags in Sauk County and in the communities surrounding Madison. And this group that's headed out tomorrow is actually just got back from the Carolinas helping out with Hurricane Florence. So we wish them the best of luck and a safe journey forward. Back to you.
Absolutely. They make such a difference. Amy Reed live tonight in West Bend. Amy, thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Police seized over 1 kilo of cocaine, 8 guns, $60,000 in cash, and arrested 3 men during an apartment and storage locker search Tuesday. Officers arrested 43-year-old Louis Boatner, 26-year-old Joseph Glenzer Morton, and 64-year-old Stanley Edwards during the raid on an apartment in the 700 block of Troy Drive in Madison. 2 storage lockers were also searched as part of the investigation, and police estimate the value of the seized cocaine at $125,000. Police tentatively charged Boatner and Glenzer with possession with intent to deliver and felony possession of a firearm, and Edwards with maintaining a drug dwelling.
Badger football player Quintez Cephas enters a not guilty plea in Dane County Court as he faces 2 felony sexual assault charges. Cephas remains suspended as he faces the charges that stem from an alleged incident back on April 22nd at his apartment in which 2 women claim he sexually assaulted them while they were intoxicated. Cephas says it was consensual. His attorney says he continues to enter surveillance video into evidence showing the interaction between the parties.
I can tell you that what I have reviewed to date gives me no reason to change the content of the affidavit that I filed in support of the motion to dismiss.
Well, that motion was earlier denied. On Tuesday, different attorneys for Cephas filed a federal lawsuit against the university saying the UW's Title IX investigation into the case violated Cephas's constitutional rights. He's due back in court on the criminal case November 13th.
A group of Wisconsin seniors says they're working to support Senator Tammy Baldwin this November because of her positions on Medicare and Social Security. The Seniors for Tammy group announced in Madison today, saying they're concerned about State Senator Leah Vukmir's positions on those issues, and they're praising Senator Baldwin for supporting family caregivers.
Tammy was raised by her grandmothers and became her grandmother's primary caregiver. So she knows how important it is to have support for seniors and their caregivers.
Meanwhile, Leah Vukmir is meeting with veterans today at a restaurant in Tomah, an area and an issue where she has been on the attack against Baldwin.
She let our veterans down at the Tomah VA when she ignored a whistleblower report that told her and only her, the only person in the congressional delegation to have received the report showing the widespread abuse of opioids.
And that attack about the Tomah VA has become a key issue in the race for U.S. Senate this year.
Political reporter Jessica Arp has what you need to know about what happened there in tonight's reality check.
In a very strongly worded ad, State Senator Leah Vukmir gives her version of how Senator Tammy Baldwin handled the Tomah VA opioid crisis.
You've got some nerve, Senator Baldwin, saying a nurse doesn't care about patients. You knew about the opioid crisis at the Tomah VA, and you did nothing.
This needs clarification and really a timeline to understand exactly what happened at the Tomah VA. The public first learned about problems at the Tomah VA in January 2015 after an investigative report uncovered doctors overprescribing opioids, vets dubbing the facility Candyland. But members of Congress had been getting messages from whistleblowers before then. According to extensive reporting by the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, Baldwin's office received a letter from a whistleblower raising concerns in March of 2014. The senator then asked the Tomah facility about the issues and asked the VA Inspector General to investigate. In August of 2014, Baldwin's office was sent a report by the VA that dismissed some allegations but did raise serious concerns about opioid prescriptions at Tomah. Baldwin's office sent that report to the constituent who raised concerns but did not make it public. The day after that report was sent to Baldwin, veteran Jason Simikoski died of mixed-use toxicity from his treatment at Tomah, a fact Baldwin would not learn until later.
A veteran died. You offered taxpayer dollars in exchange for silence and hired Hillary Clinton's lawyer to cover it up.
Again, this needs clarification. The rest of the fall of 2014, a veteran and whistleblower named Ryan Honnell tried to get the attention of multiple members of Congress on this issue. Honnell ultimately reached Baldwin aides. Honnell tried to get Baldwin's aide to make public the report he discovered her office had. That aide, Marquette Baylor, claims she wrote 3 reports on the issue she shared with superiors. Baldwin claims she never saw it.
This is where an attorney gets involved. Baylor was fired by Baldwin in January 2015, 2 weeks after the Tomah news reports. Baylor claims Baldwin's office offered her a severance package that included a confidentiality clause, and she turned it down. Baylor then hired a Republican law firm to file a federal ethics complaint, and Baldwin hired Democratic attorney Mark Elias, who has represented Hillary Clinton, to find out what went wrong in her office.
In March of 2015, Elias's review found Baldwin staffers didn't properly handle the Tomah concerns and said there was no cover-up by the senator's staff. Baldwin demoted or cut pay of some of her staff in response and told the Journal-Sentinel that, quote, mistakes were made. Baylor's ethics complaint was ultimately dismissed by a Senate committee.
I've spent my life helping patients. You've spent yours playing politics, and it cost veterans their lives.
Since this ad aired, Simikoski's family has appeared in ads for Baldwin, calling it shameful that Vukmir would criticize Baldwin and pointing out that Baldwin helped author legislation to create changes at the VA. I'm Jessica Arp with this News 3 Reality Check.
If you have an idea for a reality check, send it to us at realitycheck@channel3000.com.
There are hundreds of vacancies remaining in Madison for poll workers for the November election. Madison Alder Michael Tierney posted information Wednesday saying the city needs residents' help to facilitate voting November 6th. The city clerk's office needs to fill more than 3,000 poll worker shifts for Election Day. There are still hundreds of vacancies.
They can do anything from checking the poll books, signing people in, helping register people to vote, giving ballots to voters. There's a lot of variety of things, greeting people at the schools or just when they walk into any polling location.
Poll workers are paid $13.01 per hour. They will also be paid to attend an hour of training. If you'd like to be a poll worker, we have a link on how to do that, how to sign up at channel3000.com.
A traffic enforcement campaign which took place from January to June of 2018 on Highway 30 has shown a significant reduction in crashes. The Highway 30 corridor has been identified as a hot spot for traffic crashes. In response, the Dane County Sheriff's Office implemented the data-driven approach to crime and traffic safety model. During the 6-month period, total crashes went down 12% and total injuries went down almost 46%. There were 2 fatalities during this period in 2017, but none in 2018. More to come tonight at 5 when we come back. An announcement on a new facility in Rock County and how it will bring 100 jobs to Janesville.
Welcome back. Development in Janesville continues to grow.
Today, another groundbreaking for a company that could bring up to 100 jobs to the area. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter joins us from our bureau at the Janesville Gazette with how this will impact the area. Adam?
Well, Susan and Eric, it's a deal with Nature Pack Pet Food Company that has them breaking ground on the 160,000 square foot facility today. Now, the renderings for this facility were also released today, and at this facility, workers will design, manufacture, and package wet dog food. It's a $20 million investment that will bring in roughly 100 jobs, and those behind the deal say that the biggest concern now is finding all these workers a place to live.
That's been the side effect, if you will, of all this development. Behind us, Dollar General, there's 500 workers there, and folks need a place to live, and we've got to get busy with that as well.
Now, the project will take roughly 6 months to construct, although Mears says weather could force it to take a little bit longer. And he says this is just the latest development in Janesville, and he expects that because of this, you could see more in the near future.
Adam Duxter live in Janesville. Adam, thanks.
All right, we have all felt the change out there of the last 24 hours. Gary Canalti bundled up. He's got the winter coat out. He's ready to roll.
It's
not quite the winter coat.
You know,
I know
kind
you
of
were going to correct me, Gary.
You know, so
you're a little cold out there, though, today, aren't you?
First time I had to wear the jacket so far. But it's not so much the temperature. I mean, I can survive the temperature for a couple of minutes, but it's the breeze. It's still kind of breezy out here, and that really adds to the chill. Now, let's start out by talking about where there's been a big breeze. The tropical storm Michael still continuing to move through the Carolinas over the last 12 hours. You can see now the center of circulation located right near the Virginia-North Carolina line. The maximum winds still in the mid 50-mile-per-hour range, but it's moving pretty rapidly toward the northeast, so that will limit the rainfall amount, a couple of inches near the coast. But look at how quickly the storm moves. 24 hours from now, or actually by about 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, the storm already passing east of Cape Cod and then racing across the Atlantic Ocean, so that by Saturday, it's in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and by early next week, look where it is. I mean, it holds together as a tropical weather system, perhaps producing tropical storm force winds as it heads into the main part of Europe. So it's rare that a storm crosses over that far and maintains its strength, but the fast movement will let it do that. Now, we have an alert day around here for tomorrow morning and also for tomorrow night for a couple of nights of widespread frost and a hard freeze with low temperatures around 30 or even a little bit below. Freeze warning in effect from 1 a.m. till 9 a.m. tomorrow morning for all of southern Wisconsin away from Lake Michigan. Areas north of the Dells have already seen their first freeze, so no warning there. Live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville. A little clearing mixed in with the clouds. We'll see skies turn partly cloudy overnight. Same thing from the WISC Skycam. A little sunshine from time to time. And the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison showing partly cloudy skies. As we check out the almanac for today, our high temperature only at 48 degrees. The low this morning, 38. And right now we're at 42 with a west-northwesterly wind at 9 miles per hour. Notice that dew point temperature at 30. So as the air quiets down tonight, temperatures will fall about to that point by early tomorrow morning. Temperatures already in the 30s over northwestern Wisconsin and only in the low to mid 40s here. Compared to 24 hours ago, that's a 22-degree temperature drop in Madison. Marshfield, 31-degree temperature drop. And don't forget, we were already behind the front at this time yesterday. Upper-level winds continue very strong across the country. A big jet stream that's pushing Michael out into the Atlantic very quickly and also bringing some moisture into the southwestern part of the country from another tropical weather system in the Pacific Ocean. But now most of the Midwest has cooled down behind that cold front, which is now through New York and is going to push Michael out into the Atlantic Ocean. Temperatures 30s, 40s, and 50s for the most part. You have to really get south of the Ohio River before you see temperatures in the 60s. And future track shows the skies clearing out for tonight. The next weather system passing to our south, bringing a few clouds, and that'll just keep the temperatures down for tomorrow because we lose the benefit of sunshine. With clear skies tomorrow night, temperatures will drop back to freezing or below, and then on Saturday look for partly sunny skies and high temperatures, just a couple degrees warmer in the lower 50s as winds shift around to the south. So again, freeze warning in effect from 1 a.m. until 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. A low here in Madison at 30 degrees, outlying areas probably in the upper 20s, so a frost and freeze likely. Tomorrow's high temperature 43. On future track, you can see those temperatures nosediving to around 30 by tomorrow morning. Those clouds from the southern weather system keeping our highs tomorrow only in the lower 40s. Tomorrow night we clear out, that drops temperatures upper 20s to lower 30s, and partly sunny skies on Saturday. Southerly winds bring temperatures into the lower 50s, but the 7 to 10 day forecast keeps temperatures below normal at least through the middle of next week. Several days the low temperatures right around freezing, daytime high temperatures in the 40s. About the only chance for a shower I have in there is Saturday night, and that's just a slight chance. So the good news in that extended forecast is the dry weather should continue for much of the next 10 days. Now, as we take a look at first alert traffic, Beltline not very good. That's the live view from the DOT camera at Todd Drive. Both directions of the Beltline running very slowly. Eastbound delays start around Monona Drive and go back to west of Verona Road. Westbound delays start around Seminole Highway and go back to near West Broadway. Right now, 26-minute commute on the eastbound belt line from University Avenue to the interstate, 22 minutes back in the westbound direction. Heading out of Madison, just shy of a half hour down to Janesville on I-3990 from the belt line, 21 minutes to Sauk City on US 12, and 17 minutes out to Sun Prairie on East Washington Avenue and US 151. That's your first alert traffic.
All right, thanks, Gary.
More to come on News 3 at 5. Up next, the president signs a bill to help musicians. Why harsh criticism is being aimed at rapper Kanye West. That's when we come back. Superstars gathered at the White House today after President Trump signed landmark legislation for the music industry.
President Trump joined lawmakers with the Beach Boys and Kid Rock to sign the Music Modernization Act, a bill that updates royalties and copyright rules for the music industry. The event was a show of bipartisanship. Later, the president had lunch with rapper Kanye West and football legend Jim Brown to discuss issues affecting the African-American community.
We feel that stop and frisk does not help the relationships in the city.
I think it's a shame what's happening in Chicago. If we can do it a different way, Kanye, I'm totally open.
West's appearance in the Oval Office today is drawing harsh criticism after he launched into a profanity-laced tirade about racism and mental illness.
Stay with us. We'll have another check of your forecast in just a moment.
Coming up on the CBS Evening News tonight, we spent time both above the hurricane with the damage left behind and on the ground to see exactly what Michael has done. The damage on the Florida Panhandle just overwhelming. We have a team of correspondents spread throughout the region, and we're going to have the very latest coming up on tonight's CBS Evening News.
Boy, those pictures are unbelievable, aren't they?
They are. Makes me glad I don't live in a hurricane zone.
Yeah.
For us, we just have to deal with mundane things like frost and freeze conditions. Look at these temperatures right now. Lower 40s here compared to 24 hours ago. That's about a 25-degree temperature drop in most areas. Down to 29 by tomorrow, or 30 tomorrow morning, 29 on Saturday morning. Temperatures stay cool through much of next week.
Well, we'll see you for News 3 at 6. The CBS Evening News is next.